Hi, this is Scott Cartwright,
And this is Dr. Rudy Cartwright, the MS Health Coach.
and we want to thank you for checking out our video. We get a lot of questions about multiple sclerosis symptoms and what you can do about some of those symptoms, and this is one that we get quite a lot of, and that is about multiple sclerosis and your sex life, and more importantly, what you can do about it. So before we do that, we wanted to just tell you, before we talk about that, we wanted to tell you just a little bit about us. Like I said, my name is Scott Cartwright. I have a master's degree in public health, and I work with patients and their diseases all day on a daily basis. And I'm also the founder and creator of MS Health University, a site I put together because my father and I were always out there researching information, and we wanted to find a great place where we could get that information out there to you as a multiple sclerosis recoverer to help you continue to get better and better.
Dr. Cartwright again. I'm a brain surgeon and an expert in multiple sclerosis. And if you're wondering how a brain surgeon becomes an expert in multiple sclerosis, well, let me just tell you. I have over 35 years of training and experience. And during that period of time, I've seen my share of injuries to the brain and spinal cord because of motorcycle accidents, car accidents, truck accidents, and what have you. And what happens to the brain and spinal cord because of those accidents over a short period of time occurs in multiple sclerosis over an extended period of time. So why am I so passionate about MS recovery? Well, let me just tell you. My lovely daughter-in-law was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis while she was in the middle of her medical school training. And Scott got on the phone and called me and told me all about it, and I said, don't worry, I know what to do. But I went back to the library to brush up on, my studying and research. And I put together a program for her that she followed, and I'm happy to say that she finished her medical school training, and now she's in the middle of her residency training, and she's doing quite well. And that's where I was willing to leave it. Right there. No more. That was it. And then one day Scott came in and said, Dad, you got to share that information with others who are, having problems with their multiple sclerosis. And I said, no way, I'm not interested in the limelight. And he kept hammering on me and hammering on me and hammering on me, and I finally gave in, and I started to give MS presentations and started to give webinars. And that's why I'm here to share this kind of information with you. Now, here is a slide that shows you my diploma from Baylor College of Medicine, and indicating that I did my residency training in neurosurgery from June 1974 through June 1979.
All right, great. And before we jump into some great multiple sclerosis information, I just need to let you know that Dr. Cartwright is a medical doctor with over 35 years of training and experience, but the information we are sharing with you today is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as medical advice. Dr. Cartwright has not seen you as a patient and cannot give you medical advice, so whatever you do, please be sure to consult your doctor before you make any changes to your medical routine. And with that, let's find out if anything can be done about your sex life that has been ruined because of multiple sclerosis.
Okay. Now again, let me just go through how I present things. If you look at on this slide, it has two journal articles. And at the top, it gives you the source of the journal, and it gives the title of the article, and under the title, which is in bold, it gives you the authors. And the title of this article is Sexual Dysfunction in Females with Multiple Sclerosis, a Quantitative Sensory Testing. And they went about doing these things, testing individuals. And what they found out is that the cerebellum, that organ of balance that we have talked about on several different occasions, that cerebellum is intimately involved in sexual functions.
Can you talk a little bit about the cerebellum?
The cerebellum, since it's hooked up to the brain stem, but by way of the brain stem, it sends messages to the big part of the brain It sends messages to the muscles of your eyes. It sends messages to, or it participates in your overall balance in space, and it sends messages to your arms and legs and what have you. Essentially, the cerebellum keeps you from walking down the street as if you were drunk. This organ, this part of the brain, is very important. And as I indicated, and as this slide indicates, it's important in terms of sexual function. So when you start getting the cerebellum to function properly, when you start getting it to heal itself, your sexual function should improve. It should improve. Okay?
Okay.
The second article here brings out that sexual function is not just physiological, but there can be some psychological part to it.
And when you say physiological,
that means how you move and how you move your muscles, how the heart beats, and so forth.
Okay.
Okay. The psychological part or the emotional part is what you're thinking. In other words, if you want to become intimate with your partner, and you don't believe that you can perform like you used to perform, you may get uptight about it. You may get stressed out about it, but that's bad. So what you want to do is know that you can do something about your sexual dysfunction, and this is the kind of multiple sclerosis information that I'm bringing to you. You probably haven't heard this before, but the cerebellum, that organ of balance, that allows you to move your hands and feet and so forth, and eye muscles properly and neck muscles properly, it is intimately involved in your intimacy as far as your sexual function is concerned. So what are the action steps? We want you to get some exercise on a daily basis. We know that exercise is important in terms of your cardiovascular system is concerned. That's a given. All right? But if you want your sex life back, if you want to slow the process down, stop it, and turn it around, you have to get some exercise in on a daily basis.
And what kind of exercise are we talking about? We're talking about something strenuous here or something very simple and easy?
No, it doesn't have to be strenuous. It can be easy. You can take a 1 pound dumbbell and lift it up and down, and you can get in a rocking chair and push back and forward. Or when you're on the parallel bars, if you're there, you can walk, whatever. But you want to get exercise in. Very important.
And one of the things I think you can do is even when you're sitting there watching television on the couch or in a chair, you can move your legs up and down as if you were walking in place, except you're seated. Or another thing that we recommend if you have problems with heat intolerance is to do these type of walking in place, but do it in the shower where you can control the temperature of the water just to make sure you don't get overheated. You can cool the water down to the perfect temperature for you, and then just walk in place in the shower, and don't try to start trying to walk a mile in the shower if you haven't done it before. Just try to do it for 5 minutes or 50 steps, and then you can move that up to 75 and 100, just whatever feels comfortable for you. But just know the more that you do it, the more you'll be helping your sex life.
That's correct. Okay, and of course, if you're having some psychological problems because of your sex life, please seek an expert in the field, because they have known to be very helpful. All right, and of course, we don't want you to eat any gluten, wheat, barley, or rye, because it is really toxic to the cerebellum.
And so gluten, you find gluten in wheat, barley, or rye, and when you eat those things, it affects the cerebellum?
That's correct. That's correct.
All right, in a bad way, I'm guessing.
In a bad way. It affects it in a bad way. And this is the kind of multiple sclerosis information that you need and can use to do what? Help your sex life.
All right, great. And we've been talking about that in the slide. The journal was for females. How does this apply to males? Is it the same concept?
The same concept applies to males also.
All right, great. So we hope you liked this information. We really enjoy presenting this type of MS information for you. We pride ourselves on bringing information to you that nobody else out there is talking about, and we don't know why nobody else out there is talking about it, but we are, and it's information that, as you can see, is in the research literature, and we're not just, pulling this out of the sky. It's information that will really help you. If you like this kind of information, click the subscribe button that's above this video. What that will do is subscribe you to our MS Health University channel, our YouTube channel, and you will get notified when we release more videos like this, which we are doing all the time. So until next time, here's to your health.